14th session. Strings. Strings is an alphabetical value provided in C program. Basically, a simple string works as an array only. So, if we say an integer array with certain size in it, 4, this is called as integer array. A float array of size 6, we call it a float array. And now, we don't call it as character array, but we call it as strings. So what all we saw in the arrays of type float or integer, the same thing we'll be seeing in strings, or not so called as character array. To work in strings, we need to know certain predefined functions, but before that we'll take up certain programming concepts in strings. Declaration of strings. How is it we'll be declaring the strings? Now consider the string str happens to be its declaration will be given in this way. As you can see, there are certain contents in the string A, B, C, D, E and certain 5. But how can you point out the difference between the variable A and the character A? We are supposed to place certain characters in this strings. Then how can I consider A is a character when compared to this A? This A is an integer variable, and why can't I call this as integer variable? On what basis I can say this is a character? By using a set of quotes, we can call them as characters but not variables. So, I'll be placing 3 characters in the string. At the end, I need to place a null character. Though it may seem to be 2 characters, but compiler treats it as 1, we call it as null character. Now when you say printf, the character comma at the position of 0th block, you can see the value printed happens to be A, which is at 0th block. Likewise, if you say 2, you'll be printing the 0, 1, 2 character, which is C. The third character, which is of null character, is not at all displayed on the screen. Certain compilers display in this way, certain compilers will not display anything on the screen. So by using a loop for A equal to 0, A less than 4 and A plus plus, if I print all the characters over here, it will be A, B, C and the null character in this way. Apart from this kind of representation, we can even go for another representation, which is char str with certain characters in it, and that characters can be orbit. These are 5 characters, and at the end the null character comes by default. To prove that, if I say less than 5, print all the characters, I'll be printing orbit. If I make it to 6, at the 5th block I have the null character again. So it's clear that in this kind of representation I need to place the null character exclusively, and in this kind of initialization for a string, it's not necessary for me to place the null character because the null character comes by default. As you can see, I've been initializing my strings with certain characters in it. Now I can directly go for scanning them. Similarly, I can scan the values by using the same for loop for a equal to 0 and a less than 5, a plus plus. This is scanf %c the character ampersand str of 8th block. Now here I'll scan the values and I'll print the values on the screen. Let it be India and I'll be printing India on the screen. So to scan a character array or string, the perfect word given is a string. We can go for the format specifier %d. In an integer array we'll be saying %d as a format specifier and the rest is quite the same. Here it's %c because it is a character. Apart from using the for block, we can directly go for saying another format specifier which is %s. But when you say %s, remove all these things and simply say the name of the array. Don't mention the blocks. Don't mention the blocks and also %s. Remove those things. So now you are scanning the entire string at a time, not character by character. So now when I say is displayed on the screen. But the problem when we use %s as our format specifier, problem we face is AB and this is the third character, that is a space, and EF are the 5 characters I am trying to input them in my string. As you can see, AB are 2 characters, EF are 2 more characters, making it as 4, and the space is the 5th character. So when I print them, when I scan them by using the format specifier %s, this is what happens. You can see the difference. The characters what all come after space are lost. If my input is this 4 characters, 5th character, 6th, 7th character, 8th, 9th, 10th. Over and all I am using 10 characters. So because of the format specifier %s, the compiler won't take up all the characters which come after the space. Up to this it is safe, but from the space is everything is lost. To overcome this problem, go for using the predefined functions get s along with the name and put s along with the name. When you say this is a string, str will be displayed on the screen as it is. So 3 ways to scan the strings. One is use a for loop and scan by using the format specifier %c, or simply use the scanf statement along with the format specifier %s, but it holds a defect. It doesn't accept all the characters which come after the space. So the most common and very simple way to scan for the strings is get s, and to print is put s. These are very common and quite simple predefined functions which we can go for using. Now we'll go for the predefined functions what all we have in strings. As you can see, the declaration happen in this way, in this way and in this way. These are the 2 types of declarations available for strings. The common predefined and general use predefined functions in strings concept are string cat, string concatenation, string strrev for string reverse, strlen for string length, strupr to get the string uppercase, and similarly strcpy string copy, strcmp string comparison, and strlwr string lower. We'll go for doing all these predefined functions one by one. The first thing is we used hash include stdio.h, a void main, and a string str with we'll try to find out its length. So its space is 10. I'll be giving certain names by saying getS str. This is almost equivalent to saying scanf. Now instead of putting the same string, what I'll do this time is print the integer with which we can get the strlen string length of str. But to use string length, if we directly compile this program, we'll get an error saying call to undefined function string length in function main. Compiler is now unable to understand from where string length has come. And so all these predefined functions come from the string.h header file. Now when you compile this program, it is saying for me to enter certain characters, which are some characters which we cannot count at this stage, but string length counts and gives the particular integer that how many character it holds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters is what it holds in str and is given on the screen. This is about string length. Now coming to string reverse, the name itself says when I put it on the screen, it will be displayed in this way. India and India. But using str rev string reverse for str, the string what I give like will be displayed in a reverse format INDIA. If my input is AIDNI, the output happens to be the reverse of it, which is India. So these are the predefined functions which have been defined by Dennis Ritchie in the header file called string.h. String cat or string concatenation. For this, I need two strings. str1 which holds consider 5 characters, likewise str2 which holds around 15 characters. Get for the first string and put for the same string. I'll scan and I'll print. Similarly, get for string 2. Similarly, put it on the screen for string 2. Check the output at this stage. I say str1 and is displayed on the screen, str2 and is displayed on the screen. It's not only str1 and 2, you can give any kind of input. After this, if I go for strcat, that is string concatenation, what exactly happens is, before that, consider S1 and S2 are normal variables. Normal variables which hold certain data. With this I mean what S2 holds, copy it into S1. So this means that what S1 holds will be lost and S2 content will be placed in S1. Similarly, in S2 I want to place the content of S1, but here this doesn't mean that the content of S2 is lost. After this, when I say put S of S1 and put S of S2, check out the difference now. Naming convention, it is str and str of 1. String cat, include the header file string.h, like str1 and str2. Now look for the program. Because of that, my string 1 holds A and string 2 holds B. Now after string concatenation, this is what happens in string 2. The content of string 1 is placed in string 2, but that doesn't mean string 2 loses all its data. String 2 holds its data as well as with string 1. The next predefined function, which is string cpy, string copy, which is almost same as string concatenation, but the difference is string 2 loses its data. If string 1 holds A and string 2 holds B, now because of string copy, the string 2, what all it holds is lost, and string 1 data is placed in string 2. When it comes to string 2, it prints A because A is copied into string 2. So the functions we all used are string cat, that is concatenation, string reverse, that is reversing the string, string length, which gives the number of characters we have, and the other functions will be considering them in the next session.